Hello, Lacrosse fans. Welcome to Pleasant Hill, California. We're here at Viking Stadium as the Diablo Valley Lacrosse team will take on Simon Fraser University from Canada. As the players move to the middle of the field, we anticipate an intense matchup. My name is Logan Nones, and I'm here with my colleague Max Agrest, and we're excited for DVC Lacrosse here on this Friday night. And it's nice in Pleasant Hill, California, and we hope to see some exciting lacrosse as both sides greet each other in the middle of the field, and we're getting ready to go. DVC is 3-1 after their win against Chico State last week here in Pleasant Hill. And Simon Fraser is actually still in their preseason, and we'll consider this in their preseason matchup, and we'll face Cal Berkeley tomorrow.
Yeah, hopefully the lights come back on. All the blackouts forced DVC to go out here, and they were supposed to play Cal in their last game, but unfortunately that one had to get canceled and moved because of that those blackouts. But we have the face-off there.
And we have full power here tonight, high voltage, and we're on to lacrosse here at DVC. As Simon Fraser will win the possession in the faceoff and get going immediately, showing some urgency to get the ball around, and they're going to try and find a crease very early and potentially outrun the DVC defenders. And with the shot attempt is number 24, Mackenzie Rope, trying to find a crease there, but that was good goalkeeping by number 22, Alex Bialek for DVC. And Bialek will take it out and hopefully get it across midfield for DVC. And taking it across the middle of the field is Nathaniel Withoff. And he gets across the C of DVC. And we'll get it on to Simon Fraser's side of the field. And here is number 23, Zach Dixon, up at the point for DVC, who had a huge game along with his brother Ryan Dixon, number 18. And they hope to have a reoccurring theme tonight with their offense.
Yeah, the Dixon brothers are one of the focal points here as DVC gets a shot that goes wide, but they were one of the focal points of that offense last week as they were just tearing things up.
Yep, definitely the Dixon brothers, the 1-2 punch for DVC, along with number 7, Paul Newpower, was able to push DVC past the Chico State defense last week as we get a shot off by number 3, Jason Madden.
Yeah, and just good hustle by the Vikings there, keeping it alive. They've missed 2 shots so far, but they've gone there closest to the point where the ball exits the field of play, so got 2 possessions back as well.
Yep, and we're getting shots near the cage, but no shot on goal yet, and that's the closest one that we're going to get, and that's number 27, Arturo Perez, with the shot attempt. And that's going to be no good as they fight for possession. And DVC will get it back up at the top of the point as number 3, Jason Madden, is off to the right side and tries to find a crease. And he rips it, and it's a no good. And that's a save by number 13, Tage Grewal, for Simon Fraser.
And this is a little bit of a different offense than we saw at the last home game here in Viking Stadium, as the Vikings were so coy and so patient last time around, but it seems like they're rushing the shots this time around.
As the shot attempt is ripped down by Mark Yingling, and just as you were saying, it's a whole different tempo tonight in Pleasant Hill.
Yeah, it's like we went from the Italian soccer league to the English Premier League.
As there's some contact down there as Zach Dixon gets back his footing, gets a pass out to Jason Madden. DVC slowing the tempo down as Newpower takes it behind the cage. And he tries to find a seam. Jason Madden trying to find some space, getting his getting the defender to move to his right side, but great defense by number 31, Ty Cole, from Simon Fraser. Excellent lateral quickness shown there by number 31, Ty Cole. And as the shot clock begins to run down, urgency is being displayed by the DVC attacksman, and there's going to be a shot attempt, and it's going to sail over the goal by number 3, Jason Madden. Again, another shot attempt, no good for the DVC attacksman, but they're getting shots on goal here. Excuse me, they're getting shot attempts, but no shots on goal yet. As an offsides call will be called against Simon Fraser.
Offsides against Simon Fraser. 30 seconds on the penalty.
And play will continue. And a good regather by number 11, Jake Pimentel, but Dixon loses it. And number 3, Jason Madden lets it rip again, but no good. A nice save by number 13, Tej Grewal, and DVC will keep possession as it passes out to the outside, and that's one of the Dixon brothers, number 18, Ryan Dixon, from about 7 yards out from the right side of the cage. And that's a score for DVC as they go up 1-0 with 11 minutes and 2 seconds left in the first period.
And the Vikings there showed some patient game, and then they just found the open man, got the shot, got the perfect angle, and they ripped it and were ready to go. 1-0. Lawrence Johnson coming out. I don't think he lost a single faceoff, or if he did, it was only a couple last time out against Chico State. So let's see. He lost the first one so far. Simon Fraser's coming out more aggressive.
Yeah, to agree with you, Max. Lawrence Johnson had a very dominating night last week with the faceoffs, but he's 0-2 in the first 2 faceoffs in this matchup, as Simon Fraser will come off with the possession, and a pass will sail over number 5's head, Nolan Nelson.
Yeah, and that's what I thought was going to happen. It looked like the closest man to the ball was a Simon Fraser player, but they seemed to give it to DVC at first, but good correction by the officiating crew on the field. More deliberations. They're really trying to get this right. I appreciate the diligence. So, awaiting play to start on the field, as it looks like the Vikings will actually retain possession.
And we're back to playing lacrosse here, as DVC will win the possession after a little mishap on the call. And thank you for tuning in to DVC Sports Network as we get the clock back rolling on the live scoreboard on our broadcast. Thank you for tuning in on YouTube, as number 27, Arturo Perez, takes it across the middle of the field, getting it to Paul Newpower, number 7.
Yeah, it's interesting to see what Simon Fraser's doing here on defense. They're pressing off the ball, really trying to get as many turnovers as possible.
As we get another shot attempt by number 3, Jason Madden, but just sails over the goal. And Paul Newpower will come in showing some urgency, and he'll try to get a shot attempt on the inside, but it's no good. Great defense shown there by number 1 for Simon Fraser, Owen McCulloch. Great physicality and defense right there inside, like right by the cage.
And a turnover on Simon Fraser there as the Vikings look to push the pace once more.
And they will continue to run some more clock, maybe slow this ball down a little bit to burn some clock, but DVC's had the possession battle here. And as I expected, as they get a substitution as number 30, Ian Moran comes into the game. They seem to be having a little bit slower of an approach. And Newpower will get to the inside again, but he will not have a shot attempt as he tries to pass it to number 30, Ian Moran, but great defense there by Simon Fraser's number 15, Caden Sheehan Davies. And Simon Fraser will almost get a pass into the inside, and it's mishandled by number 3, Mark Yingling. And there's a scrap down there by the end zone in the end zone. And a penalty flag will be called, most likely against the DVC defense, as Simon Fraser's number 27, Hayden Sittler, will go across the point. And trying to find some space. And a shot attempt right at the goalkeep, and it is no good, as this penalty will be assessed in the next possession. It seems to be a tripping call on number 14, Deshaun Burr, which will leave them down.
Yeah, down a player with a minute here. We saw them have great success against Chico State despite having a few penalties not go their way. They seem to play pretty decent defense in these one-man down situations.
And DVC will get it back almost, as I spoke too soon, as they continue to scrap for the possession. And the ball will be picked up by Simon Fraser's number 11, Lucas Green.
Yes, Green awaits his offense to set back up. There's still some time left in the man advantage.
And number 3, Mark Yingling, lets it rip, but right at the goalkeep, number 22, Alex Bialek with the save. As DVC gets possession, and number 18, Ryan Dixon, going down the sideline on the far side of the field. And a great display of patience shown here by the DVC attacksmen, as they try to burn some clock down, but try to find a seam on the inside. But they're getting the ball spread around and spreading out that Simon Fraser defense. Trying to find a seam is Paul Newpower, but great defense by number 28, Ethan McLaren, swiping that ball on the attempt there by Newpower. As there is a score by Simon Fraser's number 7, Aiden Cateau. And they will tie up this score 1-1 here in Pleasant Hill, California, with 5 minutes and 52 seconds to go in the first period.
Yeah, it was a firing quick shot. I didn't even see the goal go in personally. We'll see if Lawrence Johnson can come out here and win the faceoff.
And we continue play. And yet again, another faceoff won by Simon Fraser, and that's number 26, Nicholas DeSantos, coming out victorious on the faceoff. And Simon Fraser displaying their urgent attack yet again after a one possession. As number 19, Jordan Roberts, comes into the game. And trying to work around the cage is number 5, Nolan Nelson. And they continue to get it back up to the top of the point. And letting it rip is number 24, Mackenzie Rope. Trying to rope it in there, but no good as it goes off to the right side. And almost getting a pass into the inside, and a shot attempt that goes right off the post by number 19, Jordan Roberts. As Simon Fraser will keep the possession, but almost a goal let up right there as it just went right off the right post. And getting an inside pass to number 7, Aiden Cateau. And the shot attempt is good for Simon Fraser as they go up 2-1 here in Pleasant Hill, California against the Diablo Valley College Vikings with 4 minutes and 17 seconds to go in the first period.
Yeah, Simon Fraser had a long journey here, so you might have thought that they'd come out here and start a little slow, but after giving up the first goal, they scored 2 in a row now, and they're starting to feel the momentum swing their way.
And like we were talking about before the game, Max, after you've traveled for so long, you have to have a chip on your shoulder coming into this matchup.
Yeah, you have to manufacture that energy if the energy isn't naturally there.
And the clock will get back rolling. And we have a new face-off man for DVC as number 36. Nathaniel Withoft is in the center for the Vikings as they continue to scrap for the possession, and it'll be Simon Fraser's possession. And yet again, another lost face-off for the Vikings.
Completely different than one we saw last week. So dominant in that facet of the game. Definitely have to make some adjustments there.
Yeah, definitely noticing that Lawrence Johnson was an X factor in the game last week against Chico State, being able to win the face-offs almost nearly every single time, and a whole different game here against Simon Fraser as we have a shot attempt by number 7, Aiden Cateau, who's already had a goal on the night. As Simon Fraser will keep possession. And trying to get around to make a shot attempt is number 5, Nolan Nelson, but it just sails out of his stick.
And right now it's just looking like the Vikings are having a little bit of careless mistakes there.
And going off Max's point is that they're allowing some good open shot attempts, and Simon Fraser is not able to necessarily seize on them as a shot attempt is shown by number 16, Liam O'Connor.
And on top of that, they're just making mistakes that we didn't see the previous week. They're not maintaining possession of the ball. They're not catching the ball cleanly. Just the little things.
Yeah, a little bit more sloppy play shown here by DVC. As Simon Fraser tries to outmuscle the DVC defense. Number 17, Joseph Fogelman, will bring it across midfield. as number 3, Jason Madden, will get the assist on a really busy night for him as he serves up the pass to number 30, Ian Moran, from about 15 yards out. And DVC will be tied with Simon Fraser University 2-2 with 2 minutes and 19 seconds to go in the first period. As Lawrence Johnson is back in the faceoff in the center of the field for the Vikings, hoping to win his first faceoff of the night. And yet again, Simon Fraser coming out victorious as number 26, Nicholas DeSantos wins the faceoff. Simon Fraser trying to spread out the field. And it seems to try to be getting an inside pass to number 3, Mark Yingling. And somehow the ball reaches into the goal off of a soft shot attempt, but still goes into the goal and is a point for Simon Fraser as they go up 3-2 with 1 minute and 28 seconds to go in the first period.
That's the second shot tonight, or the second goal tonight, rather, that we've seen from Simon Fraser, that you can't really even tell that it went in. It's just that finesse, that little subtlety, and it's working for them. The Vikings are powering forward with power, and it looks like on the other side, Simon Fraser is coming out here and using finesse.
As DVC is alternating their face-off crew, number 3, yet again getting a shot off, is number 3, Mark Yingling. But letting it rip this time, a little bit less subtlety and a little bit more power on that one. A minute and 10 seconds to go here in the first period. Simon Fraser up 3-2 against the Diablo Valley College Vikings, and they get an inside pass, and trying to sneak it in there is number 5, Nolan Nelson, who's primarily been behind the cage this matchup, but got a shot off by about 3 yards out, but a nice save by number 22, Alex Bialek. And DVC will get possession, and they're back onto Simon Fraser's side of the field. And that's number 36, Nathaniel Withoft. And getting it to Jason Madden, who's been a very busy man tonight, who seems to be running the DVC offense tonight. And with 20 seconds to go here in the first period, a shot attempt sails to the left. And Simon Fraser will get the last possession, possibly here in the first period, if they play this right. And a Hail Mary attempt here as it's picked up by DVC, and they might be able to get a shot attempt here with 3 seconds to go, but no, it is saved by number 13 from Simon Fraser, the goalkeeper, Tej Grewal. And that's the first period wrapped up here in Pleasant Hill, California at Viking Stadium. You're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network. Simon Fraser leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 3-2. And we'll be back for the second period after this break. And we're back after a short intermission, and we're into the second period here at Viking Stadium in Pleasant Hill, California, as Simon Fraser leads the DVC Vikings 3-2. And almost coming away with their first face-off win are the Vikings, and Simon Fraser will win the possession after a strong display by number 44, Lawrence Johnson, who's not yet been able to win a face-off tonight, but had a little bit of physicality shown there, but was not able to get away with it, as Simon Fraser will have the possession on DVC's side of the field.
Yeah, it looked like he was just almost a little too giddy to have won. He lost possession of the ball, and once again, it's the little things that DVC is doing wrong tonight. The scheme seems to be working, but it's just the little mental mistakes.
As Simon Fraser's number 24, Mackenzie Rope, will get the pass onto the inside, and great defense shown there by the Vikings, but a penalty flag will be thrown, and possibly an unnecessary roughness call against the Vikings, or a cross-check call, and we're going back up to the top of the key with number 19, Jordan Roberts. As a subtle shot is led off by number 3, Mark Yingling, a little bit off to the right side.
Penalty call.
And a push-off call against the Vikings, and it'll be a 30-second.
Penalty going against DVC. 30-second call.
They killed the 1-minute penalty last time. Let's see if they can come out here and do it once again.
Simon Fraser really closing in their spacing, and we're going to get a shot attempt by number 3, Mark Yingling, which is no good, but it'll still be Simon Fraser's possession, and the clock will continue to run. We got about 13 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the second period. As number 24, Mackenzie Rope, will get another goal on for the night for Simon Fraser, and they'll separate by 2 points as Simon Fraser goes up 4-2.
Yeah, once again, it doesn't look like a very hard shot coming off the stick. It's just a finesse, finding that spot to aim at, and going in there, picking the spot, and it's almost like a game of darts at this point.
4-2.
Showing that dexterity, picking the spot in the bottom right of the net, and there you go.
Yeah, not necessarily focusing on the velocity of the shot attempt, but more on the timing and placement of when they're going to take it. And DVC will win a possession after the face-off as number 44, Lawrence Johnson, gets his first one of the night.
And that was a strong victory as well, coming out with it clean. Let's see if the Vikings can get anything going on offense and swing the momentum back to them.
As DVC works the perimeter. And a shot attempt off by number 11, Jake Pimentel, as it goes off the right post. But Simon Fraser will come up with the possession as it rolled all the way across midfield after hitting the post. And Simon Fraser's number 9, Mason Hicks, will get a shot attempt from about a yard out, face to face with the goalie, but it will be no good as DVC will get the possession back.
That was just a great job right over there. He understood he had a longer stick, so he put him in he put himself at an advantageous position, and then forced him to go high, and the long stick forced him to shoot over the net.
As the Vikings will have it back on Simon Fraser's side of the field. Number 7, Paul Newpower, is trying to put the move on the defenseman. But great defense shown there by number 31, Ty Cole. strong physicality shown there by number 23, Aiden Danby, but unfortunately there's going to be a penalty called against Simon Fraser, and DVC will retain possession. And play will continue. Taken out by number 11, Jake Pimentel. And strong defense there by number 1, Owen McCulloch at the top. And Simon Fraser will get possession back. And will be taken out by number 22, Arjan Singh.
Not able to capitalize on the shorthanded play there.
And back on their side is number 3, Mark Yingling. Slowing the tempo down, but trying to find some space here. And as number 15, Caden Sheehan Davies comes back into the game, and they will pass it right back to him as he comes back in a substitution. And a pass attempt by number 16, Liam O'Connor, just sails over his teammate's head. And DVC will have possession. And trying to find some space is number 18, Ryan Dixon, but he'll get the pass off to number 3, Jason Madden. But great patience shown here by Simon Fraser, being able to stay in front of their men. As the clumsy pass attempt is knocked off the stick of number 23, Zach Dixon. And number 9, Mason Hicks from Simon Fraser will try to come away with it, but it'll stay DVC's possession. As the shot attempt is off by number 23, Dixon, and hits off the pole, but DVC will get it back. And as his brother fakes out the defender, a nice pump fake there by number 18, Ryan Dixon. I continually get them mixed up, Zach and Ryan Dixon, but they get that to number 3, Jason Madden on the shot attempt, which is good for DVC. And this lead is cut down to 1 point as DVC will score, and they are still down 4-3 in this matchup with 9 minutes and 11 seconds to go in the second period.
Yeah, and they just found their groove right over there. Got a little bit of swagger on the pump fake. And then the Vikings just need to start feeling themselves. It looks like Simon Fraser is a little bit faster, a little bit more physical than Chico State was. And the Vikings just need to adjust. They know they can compete with any team. And it's a matter of just going out here and showing it.
Yeah, Simon Fraser showing some great preparedness. They seem a lot more in shape. They seem to have more schemes down, but DVC can match up with anybody in these lacrosse matchups.
As they get the ball off the face-off once again, Lawrence Fraser, 3 in a row. Or Lawrence Johnson, rather.
And some great physicality displayed there by number 22, Arjan Singh. As they will lose possession and will be back on the Vikings side of the field as DVC takes it back, and the clock will continue to run. Around 8 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the second period. Simon Fraser leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 4-3. And almost stepping out of bounds there is number 23, Zach Dixon. And Simon Fraser got the possession for a moment and tried to get a pass out, but that's swept up by number 21, Gerardo Roque. And he will get the pass back off to Dixon down here at the bottom of your screen. And a timeout will be called. Simon Fraser.
Timeout called by Simon Fraser. First timeout. 8:06 remaining in the second period. 4-3 Clan.
And you're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on the DVC Sports Network. DVC is down by 1 point as Simon Fraser leads them 4-3 in the second period. And we'll be back after a quick break. And we're back live at Viking Stadium in Pleasant Hill, California, as lacrosse is continuing, as DVC will have the possession. A little under 8 minutes to go here in the second period. Simon Fraser leads DVC 4-3, and a shot attempt by number 3, Jason Madden, is no good off to the left side. They will retain possession. Down at the bottom of your screen is number 23, Zach Dixon. And getting a bounce pass off to number 11, Jake Pimentel. Him and his brother showing a little trickery tonight, but that pass attempt was a little bit off to the left and did not connect. As number 18, Ryan Dixon, is in to the inside of the cage and gets it out to number 27, Arturo Perez, but the shot attempt will be no good off to the right side. Great defense shown here by Simon Fraser's number 1, Owen McCulloch. Shutting down any attempt to get into the inside and find a seam for DVC. But number 27, Arturo Perez, will find that seam and get into the inside, but great defense shown there by 2 Simon Fraser defenders on the shot attempt, which was no good. DVC will retain possession.
And this is what I like to see from this Vikings team right here. This is the hustle and the heart that we saw last time out.
And in a close game like this, the hustle will count and be the X factor and deciding factor in these kind of matchups, as a penalty flag is thrown, possibly against Simon Fraser's number 23, Aiden Danby, excuse me.
Penalty flag. penalty against Simon Fraser.
And it'll be a slash call.
A 1 minute penalty. So the Vikings will have the man advantage. They haven't been able to do anything with it so far, but if they can use this advantage right over here, set up their offense, then they have the possibility of going out here and making the equalizer. Oh,
And letting it rip is number 18, Ryan Dixon. 10 yards out from the left side of the cage. And that will tie up the Vikings with Simon Fraser University 4-4 with 5 minutes and 57 seconds to go in the second period.
here I thought they would use all of that minute working for that perfect shot, but instead going out right there, and Ryan Dixon swings it, finds this open spot in the cage, and he equalizes the game. Love to see it.
Yeah, Ryan Dixon not afraid to rip the cord out of the telephone from 10 yards out and tying up this matchup 4-4.
And the Vikings, when they get the first possession off the faceoff, they do so well. They just got the momentum rocking with them as Lawrence Johnson gets it out initially, but it seems like Simon Fraser has retained the possession after Lawrence lost the ball.
And number 9, and that will be brought up by number 9, Mason Hicks, who gets the pass out to his offense, and that's a shot attempt, which is good by number 3, Mark Yingling, with a handful of goals on for the night for Simon Fraser, and that will put them up 5-4 with 5 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the second period.
Yeah, as Yingling shot and made every single one of the goals for Simon Fraser.
We will have to check back on that stat, but he is having a very efficient night here for Simon Fraser.
Yeah, the fact that you even have to question if he's the one who made all 5 goals so far says it all. Common theme now. Lawrence Johnson wins it, but he can't maintain possession right off the bat.
Yeah, seeming to have it in the beginning and then losing it from the great pressure shown by Simon Fraser, but DVC will come up with the possession with this one as they get it out to number 23, Zach Dixon. As we will have the 1-2 punch connection, Dixon to Dixon, and seeming to be protective over the defense that was played on his brother is number 23, Zach Dixon. Not liking how they played defense against his brother, number 18, Ryan Dixon, coming back up with the possession for DVC. And this will be a race to the ball, and DVC will come back up with possession.
And I love to see that the Vikings got a little too fancy there with the behind-the-back pass, almost forcing the turnover, but a big hit, the physicality, allowed the Vikings to retain the possession. And then the hustle right over there to get the out of bounds, and they're starting to feel it.
And really wanting this goal, and urgency shown here by DVC. And they yet again will retain possession, but a little bit more urgency shown here to get to the cage. And getting to the inside is number 11, Jake Pimentel.
Shot clock violation, Simon Fraser possession.
As there was a shot clock violation by DVC, and Simon Fraser will win possession here. Great defense shown on that possession by Simon Fraser. And what seemed to be a pass attempt by number 6, Alan Gain, goes out of bounds, and DVC will retain possession as number 21, Gerardo Roque, will bring it back up, and clock will continue to run. If you're just tuning in, you're tuned into DVC Sports Network on YouTube, watching DVC Lacrosse as the Vikings are down by 1 point against Simon Fraser University, 5-4, with about 3 minutes to go in the second period.
Timeout, DVC, 3:10 remaining in the second period. 5-4 lead.
And
Fraser U.
a timeout will be taken, and we will take a quick break as you're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network with Logan Nones and Max Agress, and we'll be right back after this quick break. And we're back to DVC Lacrosse here in Pleasant Hill, California at Viking Stadium. And we have a recap of the goals tonight as Simon Fraser leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 5-4 with 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go in the second period. And a recap from DVC, there was a goal attempt successful by number 3, Jason Madden, and 2 attempts on goal that were good for number 18, Ryan Dixon, and also a good shot attempt by number 30, Ian Moran. And that's a recap for the Vikings as Simon Fraser's number 3, Mark Yingling, has 2 goals on for the night for the Clan. And number 7, Aiden Cateau, has 2 goals for Simon Fraser, along with number 24, Mackenzie Rope, who has 1 goal on the night for the Clan.
Yeah, I think Yingling, even if he didn't score them, he assisted on them. That's what it almost felt like. He touched the ball on every single offensive goal, and that's because he did.
Indeed, Mark Yingling being in on almost every offensive possession, getting his hands on the ball, and finding some seams open for his attacksman. And an inside pass attempt there, attempted for number 7, Aiden Cateau, who already has 2 goals on the night for Simon Fraser, excuse me. And we have a foot race down here on Simon Fraser's side of the field as they try to get an inside pass. As number 4, Ryan Alamagno, tried to get the pass off to number 7, Paul Newpower, on the Simon Fraser side of the field for DVC, but there's a battle down here for the possession on Simon Fraser's side of the field, but they will come across midfield with the winning possession as number 31, Ty Cole, will pass it off to number 16, Liam O'Connor. And we'll take it to the far side of the field at the top of your screen. About 1 minute and 30 seconds to go here in the second period. And number 2, Robson Ramsey, will take it off to the left side of the cage, getting it back to number 20, Ahmad Gruel. And showing a little patience here is Simon Fraser's attacksman, but getting underneath a minute to go in the second period, burning some clock and possibly getting a goal here to tie up the matchup. And spinning outside is number 27, Hayden Sittler. And with the open shot attempt is number 7, Aiden Cateau, who already has 2 goals on the night, but a great save there by number 22, Alex Bialek. But a little bit of a clumsy play by the Vikings, and Simon Fraser will come back up with the possession, and still enough time to get a shot off before this intermission. And a shot attempt off by number 16, Liam O'Connor, and Simon Fraser will keep possession, and physicality shown there, and it gets to the inside, and a shot attempt off by number 20, Ahmad Gruel, just goes off the inside post of the goal as we're inside 10 seconds to go in the second period, and they're going to try and get a shot attempt off with the final seconds, but the Vikings coming out lucky with that one. Simon Fraser an inch off of tying up this matchup going into the third period, as the shot attempt by number 20, Ahmad Gruel, just grazed off the inside post of the cage. And we're going into the third period, but Simon Fraser still leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 5-4 after 2 periods. And we'll be back to recap after this quick break. Here in Pleasant Hill, California, you're tuned into Vikings Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network. And we're coming back to DVC Lacrosse here at Viking Stadium in Pleasant Hill, California. And a quick recap of what's gone on in this matchup. Simon Fraser leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 5-4 going into the third period, as Simon Fraser's number 3, Mark Yingling, has 2 goals on the night, as so is number 7, Aiden Cateau, has 2 goals on the night for the Clan, and also number 24, Mackenzie Rope, who has 1 goal on the night for the Clan. And over to the Viking side, we have 1 goal that was made by number 3, Jason Madden, and also 2 goals made by number 18, Ryan Dixon, and 1 goal made by number 30, Ian Moran. And we're going into the third period here in Pleasant Hill, California, and you're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on the DVC Sports Network on YouTube. And we're getting ready to start some lacrosse play. And as soon as it gets started, it gets stopped. And DVC will come out with the possession, getting across midfield.
Possession. New goalie for Simon Fraser, number 8, Conor Nichols.
As the great John Brown states, there is a substitution at goalie, number 8, Conor Nichols, for Simon Fraser. But DVC will be on Simon Fraser's side of the field, as number 3, Jason Madden, tries to find a crease to the inside or possibly an inside pass, as he moves to his right and gets a shot attempt that hits right off the goalie, Conor Nichols, and it goes off into the DVC end zone. It'll still be DVC possession. As a plane flies over here at Viking Stadium, a little bit more busy during the day. And as number 7, Paul Newpower, tries to get inside and is picked up by number 29 from Simon Fraser, Ryan Levies. And we're back onto the DVC side of the field as number 5, Nolan Nelson, gets it out to number 3, Mark Yingling, who has a couple of goals on the night for the Clan. And we're back up to number 14, Cam Way, who comes off the DVCD in the middle of the field and trying to put some pressure on the DVC defense here. Simon Fraser starts to close. Has a little scramble there, and the ball almost rolling out of bounds, but it'll stay Simon Fraser's ball.
Fraser ball.
And trying to find some space is number 6, Alan Gain. And getting back around the cage, a lot of around the cage movement by number 5, Nolan Nelson, tonight for Simon Fraser. And they'll get it back up to the top of the field, and coming back around the cage trying to find a crease is number 6, Alan Gain, almost getting an attempt on the goal there, but no shot attempt taken. And number 11, Lucas Green, trying to get an inside pass for Simon Fraser, which will sail off to the right side, and they will lose possession, and the Vikings will come up as Jake Pimentel shows off his speed and gets off to the other side of the field, but it'll go back to Simon Fraser's possession. And a little bit of a scramble, which was kicked off by number 24, Mackenzie Rope. And he assisted number 18, Ryan Dixon, on DVC. As you don't see that every day, ladies and gentlemen, as number 24 from Simon Fraser kicked it off, and number 18, Ryan Dixon, picked it up from the Vikings and had a shot attempt which was good, which ties up this lacrosse matchup in Viking Stadium 5-5 with 11 minutes and 16 seconds to go in the third period.
And that's what the Vikings need to do. Simon Fraser's coming out there playing tough defense. They're finding their spots on offense, but the Vikings just need to make this game a dirty game, force some turnovers, and just get any shot that they can get off at this point.
Yeah, definitely scrapping for points here in Viking Stadium for the Vikings.
Yeah, and they just need to make this a grimy, dirty, physical game.
And as Max was saying, a little bit more scrappiness needs to be shown by DVC to be able to come out with the victory in this matchup. For Simon Fraser is very well prepared, a very well put together team who seems to be trying to get schemes down every single time that they have the ball.
And they can match athleticism with the Vikings. The Vikings have some great athletes on the field, but it looks like it's equal. So right now it's just coming down to scheme. And from what it looks like so far, might look like Simon Fraser has just a slight advantage there. So the Vikings need to make up with that with hustle.
Yeah, slight advantage in scheme by Simon Fraser, and we'll see how exhaustion comes into this matchup and fatigue will come into this matchup later in this third period. And a possible shot attempt there by number 19, Jordan Roberts, which was saved by the substituted goalkeeper for the Vikings, number 15, Dylan Brown, who has taken over the reins at goalkeep for number 22, Alex Bialek, as it is his turn to try and get some saves here for the Vikings. And comes out successful on his first one. As Simon Fraser will have possession. And getting to the inside and having a shot attempt is number 24, Mackenzie Rope. Excellent agility there, showing off the spin move, getting onto the inside, but just missed with the shot attempt. As Simon Fraser will keep possession. And at the top of your screen, the far side of the field, is number 32, Cole Tate, who gets the pass off to the behind the cage. And a little bit of a shift shown here as number 3, Mark Yingling, is behind the cage for Simon Fraser, possibly trying to find an opening for number 5, Nolan Nelson, in the inside. And the pass attempt will be to number 7, Aiden Cateau, on that possession, and will sail over the head of Simon Fraser's attacksman, and it will be DVC's possession. As physicality is shown there right on the sideline, right in front of the DVC lacrosse team right there. As a penalty will be assessed against Simon Fraser, and 30-second penalty on that one. And it's a hold call against Simon Fraser. And if you're just joining us, you're tuned into Vikings Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network, and we're tied 5-5. With about 9 minutes to go in the third period. As there's an inside pass off to a number 11, Jake Pimentel, and he gets the shot off from about 5 inches out in front of the goalkeeper's face. And they will be, as DVC will go up 6-5 with 9 minutes to go in the third period.
Yeah, that luscious flow of the hair flowing out of that helmet. That's what we saw on offense. He came out there. The Vikings showed really good offensive ball movement and then threading the needle right in front of the cage as the Vikings put that one in. 6-5. The Vikings take their first lead since, I believe, 3-2. And now if Lawrence Johnson can come out here and win the faceoff, he might have stolen the momentum in full for the Vikings.
And really wanting it this time is number 44, Lawrence Johnson, who has not been very successful tonight, but really wanting it on that one and fighting really physically to win that faceoff.
Yeah, the physicality right there by Lawrence Johnson, putting every single bit of energy that he had into stealing that ball away.
And we know what he's capable of for him not losing all but one face-off last week against Chico State. We know what he's capable of, but once put up against competitive competition, we'll see what he's able to do, as he's not been as successful tonight. As we get a shot attempt that hits the outside of the net by number 7, Paul Newpower.
Here comes red.
But we've had a great defensive night shown here by both teams, and a standout Simon Fraser defense was shown in that last possession, but DVC being able to find a crease and get a pass onto the inside and getting a shot off from about 1 yard out in front of the goalie. As Simon Fraser will have possession on DVC side of the field. And trying to find some space is number 3, Mark Yingling, who has 2 goals on the night, and getting an inside pass from number 2, Robson Ramsey, is number 18, Nick DeMalo, who couldn't seem to handle it.
2 terrific efforts on the save of the goals by Dylan Brown there.
And as Max says, number 15, Dylan Brown getting his chance in this matchup. Substituted in for number 22, Alex Bialek. As Simon Fraser almost had an opportunity as Dylan Brown moved away from the cage. As they continue to try and get a shot off in this possession, and it's going to be picked up by number 23, Zach Dixon, who's going to have a foot race, but he gets checked in the leg by the stick, and they are going to throw the penalty flag on that one. And they continue to throw. It's a lot of dirty laundry here in Viking Stadium. They continue to throw penalty flags as physicality is being shown down here by the Simon Fraser defense, but unfortunately I believe that they're going to come up with the penalty.
Yeah, very unfortunate for Simon Fraser. They played some dirty ball there, but some flags fly in, and like you said, the hankies on the field are going to give the Vikings an opportunity. Love to see that physicality, though. I think that will bode well for the Vikings going forward.
Yeah, although there's a lot of penalties in this matchup for and a handful of penalty calls against Simon Fraser. But as Max was saying, a lot of physical play displayed here by both teams. But I think that they'll allow a couple penalties to occur if they want to be able to play physical and trying to get the advantage of dominance against the opposite team.
Yeah, and Simon Fraser, they were using a lot of finesse earlier on. They're trying to show the physicality now, but unfortunately for them, I think DVC can be the more physical team on the field.
And letting it rip is number 23, Zach Dixon, from about 15 yards out, which was no good, hit the goalkeep. And that's 2 saves there from Simon Fraser's number 8, Conor Nichols, who was substituted in at goalkeep for Simon Fraser, and successfully saved 2 shot attempts from Zach Dixon, which were on goal.
And so far for both teams, it's looking like the shift at goalkeep is paying dividends. Vikings haven't given up a single goal about 5 minutes throughout this third period of play now. And then Simon Fraser's new goalkeep showing the skill right over there on the last timeout.
As the pass will be taken in and received by Ryan Dixon, who slightly fumbles it, but will have a inside pass attempt on number 7, Paul Newpower, who gets the shot attempt off from about 2 yards out to the left side of the cage. And it's good, as DVC will go up by 2 points. And the score is 7-5 with 5 minutes and 31 seconds to go in the third period. And a beautiful inside pass there. And a great shot attempt by number 7, Paul Newpower, who was able to seize the shot attempt and opportunity and find that crease from about 2 yards out.
Yeah, Newpower just scooped into the net after getting it point blank. Newpower has really been on the receiving end of some great passes getting inside. Cheers to him for being able to get open, but also cheers for his team being able to go out there and thread the needle through multiple defenders to get it to him.
Yeah, Paul Newpower, a little bit smaller of a player, being able to get into creases and find his way into the inside, almost beneath defenders sometimes, but still being able to get shots on goal. As number 23, Zach Dixon, gets it off to number 30, Ian Moran. And Moran will try and push his defender into the inside, possibly getting some pressure on to the goalkeep. As number 11, Jake Pimentel, comes into the game, running over the C of the DVC logo in the middle of the football field. And possibly finding a crease. And an assist by number 11, Jake Pimentel, who comes in off the substitution, gets it off to number 18, Ryan Dixon, who lets it rip from about 10 yards out and will put DVC up by 3 points with 4 minutes and 39 seconds to go. The DVC Vikings lead the Simon Fraser Clan 8-5 in the third period.
When the Vikings get the ball in the opening face-off, they come out here and they do great things. It seems like that momentum that they get just having the first opportunity on offense really just carries them forward. These last 3 goals, they've won the face-off all 3 times.
Yeah, coming out with a whole different attitude into this third period as the Vikings, and they go with a couple goals unanswered. And seeming to not find the ball after a little bit of physicality shown there by Lawrence Johnson. Neither of the face-off men for each team could find the ball, but it was picked up by number 22, Arjan Singh, who gets the possession for Simon Fraser. As number 6, Alan Gain, moves on to the far side of the field. And yet again behind the cage is number 5, Nolan Nelson, trying to find a crease here. And he gets an inside spin and has a shot attempt, and it's going to be good as he's draped over by defenders. But that will narrow the lead to 2 points as Simon Fraser scores a goal, and they're still down 8-6 with 3 minutes and 54 seconds to go in the third period. Excellent shot attempt there by number 5, Nolan Nelson, finding the crease, draped over by defenders and still able to get the shot off below the hip into the goal. Excellent skill there shown there by number 5, Nolan Nelson, a taxman for Simon Fraser. And almost finding a crease there is number 36, Nathaniel Withoff, but great defense there by Simon Fraser, knocking the ball out.
Yeah, nudging that ball loose. Good stick play.
It was a very close play on that one as Nathaniel Withoff almost got into the GLE and almost got a goal in there. But great defense by Simon Fraser.
Another swinging goal now for Simon Fraser.
as Mackenzie Rope, number 24, for Simon Fraser, whips in a goal, who has 2 goals on the night for Simon Fraser, and narrows this lead to 1 point as DVC still leads Simon Fraser 8-7 with 3 minutes and 8 seconds to go in the third period. And a very physical face-off here. And DVC almost coming out victorious, and yes, they will, as it is picked up by number 17, Joseph Fogelman. As the defense is shown there by number 22, Arjan Singh, and there will be a timeout taken by the Vikings.
Yeah, and I think this is a great timeout right over here. Get this nice offensive possession going, drop a scheme, find the perfect play to run, and see if you can take back the momentum.
With just a little bit underneath 3 minutes to go in the third period, Simon Fraser only trails the Diablo Valley College Vikings by 1 point. And like Max said, this is a great time to take a timeout and probably seize their only opportunity to tie this game or possibly catch a lead here with the remaining time left here in Viking Stadium. And you're tuned into DVC Lacrosse here on DVC Sports Network on YouTube. As we tune back into DVC Lacrosse here on DVC Sports Network on YouTube. The possession is at DVC's, and it's going to be taken out by number 3, Jason Madden, who's had a lot of time with the possessions tonight, and gets a pass off to number 18, Ryan Dixon, who's got a handful of goals on the night for the Vikings. But great defense shown there, and that's going to be picked up by Simon Fraser's number 10, Ethan Simons, who gets the pass off to number 9, Mason Hicks. And they're going to have great urgency of the ball, and they're going to get a shot on goal, and that's going to be good. And the shot attempt off by number 7, Aiden Cateau, who now has 3 goals on the night for the Simon Fraser clan, with a little bit underneath 2 minutes to go in the third period.
Got himself a hat trick there.
As we anticipate yet again another intense face-off. The score is tied in Pleasant Hill, California, 8-8, with about 2 minutes to go in the third period, as DVC will come out victorious with the face-off. And as number 3, Jason Madden, will take it across midfield for the Vikings, as number 23, Zach Dixon, and number 30, Ian Moran, come back into the game. And getting into the inside and having a shot attempt that went wide left off the ground was number 3, Jason Madden. And it'll remain DVC's possession after the shot attempt, as number 7, Paul Newpower, takes it from behind the cage, and they'll get it off to number 30, Ian Moran, and he will have a shot attempt, and it's good for the Vikings as they go up by 1 point with 1 minute and 22 seconds to go in the third period.
And right now, what it's looking like is the weak spot in that Simon Fraser defense is when the shots are coming from the right-hand side of the cage. I believe all the shots that weren't in that point-blank range that we saw the Vikings thread so perfectly earlier in the game have come from that right side. So maybe something in the tendencies of the goalies that the coaching staff saw for the Vikings, and they're trying to abuse it there.
And going off Max's point, DVC is getting great inside play and getting passes onto the inside and finding those shot attempts onto the right side, and it's seemed to be successful for the Vikings.
Face-off goes to Simon Fraser.
And Simon Fraser will come out successful with the face-off with number 26, Nicholas DeSantos, back out there for the Clan. As number 19, Jordan Roberts, is on the far side of the field and gets it behind the cage to Nolan Nelson, but Nolan Nelson pops it back out as a timeout will be taken by the Simon Fraser Clan as time is ticking here in Pleasant Hill, California at Viking Stadium. There's about 51 seconds to go in the third period, and DVC leads the Simon Fraser Clan 9-8. And we'll be back after this quick break. You're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network.
And Simon Fraser electing to use a timeout before basically their last offensive possession of the third period of play.
And we're underneath 30 seconds here in Viking Stadium as DVC leads 9-8 against Simon Fraser University. And time is ticking, and they're going to try and get a shot attempt there, which will be called no good. And that'll be a crease violation against Simon Fraser, and DVC will come back up with the possession, and you'll see the the Simon Fraser University Clan getting back onto the other side of the field, trying to play some defense here with the remaining time left that they have. And time will run out.
Third quarter ends. We go to the fourth.
And
9-8
that'll be the end of the third period
Simon Fraser.
as DVC leads Simon Fraser 9-8. And we have a quick recap here from Viking Stadium as number 3, Mark Yingling, has a couple of goals on the night for Simon Fraser, along with Mackenzie Rope, number 24, who has 2 goals on the night for the Clan. Also, number 7, Aiden Cateau, who has a hat trick tonight, who has 3 goals on the night for Simon Fraser, along with number 5, Nolan Nelson, who has 1 goal in the night for Simon Fraser, but Aiden Cateau with the hat trick. And on to the Vikings side of the statistics. We have a handful of goals. We have 4 goals from number 18, Ryan Dixon, who has come off a phenomenal night after last week's win against Chico State. And tonight he has 4 goals on the night against Simon Fraser. And also with goals on the night for the Vikings is number 11, Jake Pimentel, along with number 7, Paul Newpower, who has 1 goal, and number 3, Jason Madden, who has 1 goal. And showing some efficiency for the DVC offense is number 30, Ian Moran, with 2 goals on the night for the Vikings. As we are anticipating this 4th quarter, Simon Fraser only down by 1 point in this intense matchup, and we've seen a lot of great defense in this lacrosse game. You're tuned into DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network on YouTube. And the last period of play began here in Viking Stadium. And it's going to be picked up by Simon Fraser, but still on their side of the field as they try to get across the midpoint of the DVC logo and almost sailing a pass over the head of number 25, Cole Zubik, but he still comes up with it. And getting an inside pass to number 7, Aiden Cateau, with the hat trick, but great defense there with the save by number 15, Dylan Brown. As DVC tries to slow this possession down. And Simon Fraser needing a goal here to tie it up or possibly get ahead. But DVC holding this lead very strong at the moment. As patience is displayed by number 3, Mark Yingling. Number 3, Jason Madden, guarded by number 9, Mason Hicks. And they'll get the ball all the way out to number 23, Zach Dixon. And getting out to number 30, Ian Moran, who has a handful of goals. Gets it to Jason Madden, guarded by number 9, Mason Hicks. And trying to get the pass attempt to number 18, Ryan Dixon, to add on to his 4 goals in the night. And this will be Simon Fraser's possession as the pass sails over number 1's head, Owen McCulloch. A little bit of clumsy play shown there by Simon Fraser as number 25, Cole Zubik, sails the pass over number 1, Owen McCulloch, and will go back to DVC's possession. And there will be a shot on goal by number 7, Paul Newpower, about 7 yards out from in front of the goal. And that will put DVC up by 2 points against Simon Fraser University with 12 minutes and 59 seconds to go in this 4th period.
Yeah, Newpower had such a big impact on last week's game. This time around, he's not quite found the same impact that he had last game, but right there he showed the agility, the finesse, the skill to get inside off the out of bounds. And he extends the Viking lead out to 10-8.
Yeah, I would agree with you, Max. Last week's number 7, Paul Newpower, had 6 goals for DVC against Chico State. And this week against Simon Fraser so far has 2 goals. Not being so outstanding in the goal statistic, but still having efficient play in this matchup.
Yeah, I think we just expect so much out of him just because of how powerful he was and how amazing he was last game.
Yeah, I would agree with you, and we know what he's capable of. He's a very efficient player and still has 2 goals on the night for the Vikings.
I think more than anything what that says is it just talks about how good of a defense Simon Fraser has played tonight. They've played fast, they played physical, and they've really swarmed the man with the ball.
Yeah, great pressure shown here by Simon Fraser's defense as number 11, Jake Pimentel, will be guarded by Simon Fraser's number 28, Ethan McLaren. And they'll get a pass out to number 23, Zach Dixon. And the shot attempt will be no good, as DVC will keep possession, brought out by Jake Pimentel. And he will take a shot attempt, and that's going to be saved by the goalkeeper, Simon Fraser, number 30, Brock Jung, who is substituted in for Simon Fraser's defense and has now taken over the reins at goalkeep as Simon Fraser tries to get across midfield, across the DVC logo. And taking it out is number 9, Mason Hicks, who gets the pass off. And Simon Fraser will be here at the bottom side of your screen, trying to get the pass out to the top of the DVCC in the middle of the field. And receiving that is number 16, Liam O'Connor, as number 27, Hayden Sittler, comes in, showing some great urgency to the goal, who gets a pass off to number 5, Nolan Nelson. And he gets the shot attempt from about 3 yards out, and it's good for Simon Fraser, as they will only be down by 1 point with 11 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the fourth period. And the score is narrowed down to 10-9 as DVC still leads Simon Fraser University.
And that's a really tight window the shot went through. That was only about half a foot there. Just finding that open spot along the right side of the cage, and I think that's just a really good execution on the side of Simon Fraser, more so than a lack of defensive execution from the Vikings, because the Vikings honestly played some good defense there.
Yeah, astounding job yet again by number 5, Nolan Nelson, finding the crease on the inside, who has displayed his efficiency to be able to get inside the GLE and be able to get that shot from about 2 to 3 yards out. His shots tonight have been face-to-face with the goalie, and he has executed perfectly.
Something going on in the face-off there. Is maybe an unsportsmanlike action there, cursing in the face-off. But whatever it is, the Vikings get the ball.
On the penalty, DVC goes to the offense.
And DVC will have the possession, but a very intense game tonight as the penalty is called against Simon Fraser, possibly an unsportsmanlike, but that's going to happen in competitive matchups. There's going to be a little bit of trash talking. And like I said earlier, having to travel a long way definitely puts a chip on your shoulder when you have an away game, as Simon Fraser's Mason Hicks will come up with it, and he gets the pass off to the far side of the field to number 1, Owen McCulloch. Simon Fraser showing some great urgency here, and a stick to the head, and that's going to be called against DVC. And they will continue play as number 7 showing some toughness, Aiden Cateau, as he got the stick to the head. Number 5, Nolan Nelson, yet again getting into the inside of the DVC defense and getting a shot off from about 3 yards out, and that will tie up this matchup 10-10 with 10 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the fourth period.
And like I said before, the Vikings were abusing that right side of the cage for their prominent offense, and now it's looking like it's going the other way around for Simon Fraser. They're finding some space along the left side of that cage, and that's led to the 2 goals that they scored consecutively, tying things up 10-10 with 10:53 left in the fourth quarter of play.
And yes, to a certain extent, this goes to the Simon Fraser scheme to be able to get to the inside, but a lot of credit is due to number 5, Nolan Nelson, being able to show the skill and getting a shot off from about 3 yards out on multiple occasions in this matchup. As the faceoff begins, and yet again will be stopped as soon as it starts, and will be Simon Fraser's possession as number 11, Lucas Green, comes up with it.
Simon Fraser possession.
As number 24, Mackenzie Rope, who has a couple goals on the night for Simon Fraser, will try and get a pass into the inside, and he has an attempt to get it to number 16, Liam O'Connor, which was deflected by number 36, Nathaniel Withoft from the Vikings, but he gets the pass out to number 3, Mark Yingling, who has a shot attempt, but it is no good, and the save was by number 15, Dylan Brown, who has had a solid second half since coming into the game for the Vikings.
Sloppy pass there for the Vikings if they're able to get the ball through, pushing the pace up the field here.
And showing a little bit more urgency is number 3, Jason Madden, as they try to take advantage of this clock in the last period of play.
Tied up 10-10. It's been a really fun one.
Yeah, a lot of goals scored here tonight, and it's been an intense matchup, and we've seen some competitiveness from both teams, showing some great physicality and defense on inside plays. And almost a behind the back, what seemed to be a shot attempt by number 18, Ryan Dixon, who tried to show a little flash there, trying to sneak that goal in, but it is no good as it goes off to the right side. And we have about 9 minutes and 20 seconds to go in the fourth period. And letting it rip is number 11, Jake Pimentel, but the shot attempt is no good, and Simon Fraser is going to come up with it as the pass attempt goes. And number 2, Robson Ramsey, who showed great hustle on that play, going all the way coast to coast, gets the pass off to number 9, Conor Nichols. Excuse me, number 9, Mason Hicks. And that's going to be good for Simon Fraser as they go up by 1 point. And now the score is 11, Simon Fraser, and 10, the Diablo Valley College Vikings, with 8 minutes and 56 seconds to go. Excellent hustle displayed there by number 2, Robson Ramsey, being able to come up with the fumbled ball, running coast to coast for the Clan, and getting the assist to number 9, Mason Hicks, who sets apart the Simon Fraser offense, 11-10. As number 44, Lawrence Johnson, comes up with it, but it gets knocked out by number 23, Aiden Danby. And it is picked up by the fast number 11, Jake Pimentel. And trying to find some space, who has a one-on-one matchup, is number 7, Paul Newpower, who has a handful of goals on the night. But he gets a pass off to number 11, Jake Pimentel, who tries to get behind the back shot into the goal, but it is no good. A little bit off to the left on the shot attempt by Pimentel, but he comes right back in, trying to get an inside pass. And trying to get it past the goalkeeper, number 30, Brock Jung, as DVC will lose possession and will be taken out by number 1, Owen McCulloch. As number 11, Lucas Green, gets a pass off to number 14, Cam Way, who gets a pass off to number 6, Alan Gain, who has a shot attempt from about 15 to 17 yards out, which was no good, saved by number 15, Dylan Brown from the Vikings goalkeep, and gets an inside pass to number 11, Lucas Green, but yet again saved by Dylan Brown. And we might have an attempt here by Simon Fraser with the goalkeep out from in front of the cage and finding a crease, but no good. That was a shot attempt by number 3, Mark Yingling, but great defense shown there by number 5, Liam Burgoyne, taking it off the chest. As Nolan Nelson gets a good pass attempt that comes right back to him, as it was intended for number 7, Aiden Coteau, both of them with a handful of goals on the night for Simon Fraser, but unsuccessful in that attempt. And slowing down their attack here is the Simon Fraser offense, but number 5, Nolan Nelson, trying to find a pass to the inside or a crease. And he gets the inside again, and the shot attempt is no good. As the shot clock violation goes off, and it'll be DVC's possession as they still trail the Simon Fraser clan 11-10 with 6 minutes and 36 seconds to go in the fourth period.
Man, the Vikings weren't able to get that ball away from Simon Fraser, but they really played some stout defense.
Stout defense shown there by the Vikings, and a lot of time taken off the clock by the Simon Fraser clan as they get the ball back on this possession. And number 19, Jordan Roberts, will go off to the far side of the field. And number 24, Mackenzie Rope, will check back into the game and receive the pass. And showing a very urgent attack here is Mackenzie Rope, and it'll be DVC's possession. And a headbutt will be called against number 24, Mackenzie Rope of Simon Fraser, as a pass is sailed over the head of number 6, Marshall Kay. As Simon Fraser will get the possession back, and the DVC the DVC team just shooting themselves in the foot on that possession. They lost a lot of time on the clock, and they need to tie this game up or try and get ahead. And just a clumsy pass on that one as they fight for the possession on this one. And almost coming up with it is number 36, Nathaniel Withoff. But great defense shown there by number 5, Nolan Nelson, and number 24, Mackenzie Rope. Displaying great physicality here, shown on Simon Fraser's side of the sideline. As they will continue to run this clock down and potentially trying to get the dagger here. And trying to get a pass to the inside yet again is number 5, Nolan Nelson, but it sails over his teammate's head and ends up in the hands of number 19, Jordan Roberts. And Roberts putting on the move and trying to get to the inside, but great defense displayed there by number 21, Gerardo Roque. And it ends up in the hands of Nolan Nelson. Nelson getting the pass out. And getting the pass into number 19, Jordan Roberts, excuse me. And the shot attempt will sail off and end up DVC's possession.
Now let's see if the Vikings can actually get this one across the field before turning the ball over. The last 2 possessions prior, lazy or careless passes rather, forced 2 turnovers that the Vikings really just shot themselves in the foot with.
And an urgency shown here by number 36, Nathaniel Withoff, and trying to get the pass off to Dixon. And almost finding a crease there, but just a little bit clumsy of a pass there. And we've seen a little bit of messiness shown here in the past couple possessions by DVC.
.34 left. The Vikings trail by 1. Trying to pin it in here.
And trying to get to the pass on the inside is number 23, Zach Dixon, but it hits off the stick of a Simon Fraser defenseman, and they will come up victorious in the scrap for the ball, and they'll get it back onto the DVC side of the field. And there's a shot attempt, which is good. From about 15 yards out, number 3, Mark Yingling with a hat trick for the night for Simon Fraser as they go up by 2 points as they lead the Diablo Valley College Vikings 12-10 with 3 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the fourth quarter.
Great job on the fast break by Simon Fraser. They just used the 4-on-3, and they were able to pay dividends with that. The hustle has really pushed Simon Fraser through in this fourth quarter of play.
A very key goal there by number 3, Mark Yingling, to separate the Simon Fraser clan by 2 points late in this in this matchup in the fourth period.
And it feels like the Vikings have just not had the ball all this fourth quarter. Simon Fraser coming out here, dominating the time of possession. And the Vikings really need to fight physical here on the face-off, steal the ball, and get a quick goal. Only 3:12 left.
Yeah, very efficient play by the Simon Fraser attacksmen, as they've been able to have the possession for a good amount of this fourth period.
See if Lawrence Johnson can come out once again and win the faceoff. This one's a big one. And there we go.
And he almost comes out victorious, but seems to not have full possession of it, and he tries to get the pass off and get across midfield, and that's to number 3, Jason Madden. But great defense there by Simon Fraser as DVC comes up with the possession.
Yeah, just a lot of pressure by Simon Fraser here, but the Vikings are able to get away from it this time. They'll need to work some clean, crisp offense here. No more stupid mistakes. They can't afford it.
And very little time left to go in this fourth period. Like Max said, they're going to have to be very efficient and very careful with this possession.
They just can't turn the ball over. That's been the Achilles heel of the Vikings all night long. Just careless turnovers and not being able to find the pass inside.
And trying to find some space is number 11, Jake Pimentel. But great save there by Simon Fraser's number 30, Brock Jung, goalkeeper, who's come in and been very solid for the Clan since substituting in this second half. And Simon Fraser will get it back off to the Viking side of the field, and possibly a shot attempt by number 7, Aiden Cateau, but he takes it back as he continues to try and burn the clock down. Maybe his coach was potentially saying, don't shoot it, we're trying to burn some clock here, run the shot clock down, and possibly not leave an opportunity for DVC to get a shot off and tie this matchup up with very little time left.
Yeah, and the Vikings might just have to force a lot of pressure and try to get a steal at this point. I don't think they can really play some patient defense with only 1:30 left in the clock.
And a very key defensive possession here for the Vikings, but Simon Fraser having a shot attempt on goal that hits the right post. No good by number 15, Caden Sheehan Davies. But a penalty flag will be assessed on this next possession. And this penalty will be against the Vikings, as Simon Fraser still leads the Diablo Valley College Vikings 12-10 with 1 minute and 16 seconds to go in the fourth period.
Unfortunately, they might go ahead and just do it. The Vikings need a prayer right now.
Here we're going to see some urgency shown here by DVC's defense, but not a lot of time left to score. But they're going to have to try and get this ball back very quickly as Simon Fraser continues to spread this ball around. Great ball movement, getting it around and burning this shot clock down to seal in this victory. As they continue to run this clock down, and almost coming up with it is DVC's number 21, Gerardo Roque, and they do come up with it, but a pass by number 5, Liam Burgoyne, sails into the hands of a Simon Fraser defender, number 25, Cole Zubik, coming up with a key turnover with about 25 seconds to go in the fourth period.
Now we'll just about go ahead and do it with 20 seconds on the clock, counting down. The Vikings had just a sliver of a chance there, but they couldn't get across the field. 10 seconds counting down, and this one will be a wrap.
And that will be a wrap here in Pleasant Hill, California, as Simon Fraser will come out victorious against the Diablo Valley College Vikings, 12-10. And on the last possession, a very key turnover taken there by number 25, Cole Zubik, who took away any chance for the Diablo Valley College attacksman to get a shot off. And he saved that last attempt for them, but Simon Fraser will come out victorious, 12-10. in this lacrosse matchup. And we will be back with a quick recap on DVC Sports Network. And you are tuned into DVC Lacrosse. And we're back here on DVC Sports Network for a quick recap of tonight's matchup that occurred with the Diablo Valley College Vikings and the Simon Fraser University Clan, as the Clan comes out victorious 12-10 after 4 periods here in Pleasant Hill, California. And a quick recap of statistics, as standouts for the Simon Fraser Clan are Mark Yingling, Nolan Nelson, and Aiden Cateau, who all had 3 goals on the night for Simon Fraser, along with number 24, Mackenzie Rope, who had 2 goals on the night for Simon Fraser. Outstanding job, gentlemen, and they came out victorious on the win and were key contributors to the win in this matchup. And going over the DVC score recap, 1 goal was scored by number 3, Jason Madden, and 2 goals were scored by number 7, Paul Newpower. Also with a goal was number 11, Jake Pimentel. An outstanding offensive display yet again by number 18, Ryan Dixon, who had 4 goals on the night for the Vikings. And also coming out with a couple of goals was number 30, Ian Moran, who came out and had 2 successful goals for the night for the Vikings. And a pretty competitive matchup here tonight for the Vikings, and they were not able to come out successful, but the tempo of this matchup was completely different than last week against Chico State. And what seemed to have Simon Fraser came out very prepared and had to travel a long way, all the way from Canada, and came all the way down to Pleasant Hill and came ready, came prepared, and executed their matchup against DVC and came out victorious.
Yeah, and it was just a matter of runs. That first half, like we were talking about, I mean, it was a pretty close game, back and forth. Both teams had their runs, but in the third period, it was really close. I believe it was only a 1-0 period, as the Vikings got the only goal. They showed some dominance there, but then whatever adjustments Simon Fraser made in that fourth period of play, they really handled things. The Vikings came out and they just turned the ball over too many times, sloppy play. They lacked a little bit of that hustle that we saw earlier in the previous 3 periods. And then, yeah, that really just says the whole entire story. Just Simon Fraser was able to go out there, really dominate the time of possession in that fourth period of play, and then because of that, it tired out the DVC team. And then that led to our final score of 12-10.
A great game shown tonight by both teams, but Simon Fraser coming out successful, traveling all the way from Canada, coming down to come out victorious against the Diablo Valley College Vikings here in Pleasant Hill, California. And they will take on Cal Berkeley tomorrow in a preseason matchup. And the Diablo Valley College Vikings will have their next matchup at 1 p.m. Sunday, October 13th at Dominican University for their next game. And you were tuned into DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network, along with myself, Logan Nones, and my colleague Max Agress. And we hope that you tune in next time to our live broadcast on DVC Sports Network. And we hope everyone has a great night and drives home safely, and hopefully tunes into our broadcast in the future. We broadcast football, and we broadcast lacrosse, and potentially, hopefully, we get to the basketball games.
Yeah, definitely.
But
tune in next Friday. That's when the DVC Vikings football team will be playing at Chabot College for the first Bay 6 conference matchup.
Yeah, and DVC football having a great year this year, and hopefully coming out and ready to play after their bye week back next week. And so thank you for tuning in to DVC Lacrosse on DVC Sports Network. I'm Logan Nones, and this is my colleague Max Agress, and we hope to see you next time.